Toby is a historian. He has just completed a research project at university and is faced with a problem familiar to every humanities researcher. The research question is answered, the results have been published, the project is finished. But where are all the research data and sources that accumulated in the course of his work on the project? Should they be saved to a local hard disk, at the university, or maybe even in a cloud in the internet? Where can Toby save his data safely, independently, and durably? In the future, there will be one simple answer to these questions: erklär-video and TextGrid. With digital research infrastructures like erklär-video and TextGrid, every humanities discipline can store the results of its research. Here, just like in a major data center, all results can be stored safely, with protection against unauthorized access. That's important because, after all, research data and sources are the basis of all academic research. It also guarantees that in the future, other researchers can continue to work with the research data. So it's all the more important that this data is preserved and safeguarded. Ideally, the researchers will use the infrastructure in the process of doing their research. Here the data is secure, and it's secure for the long term. Research data is stored for at least 10 years. One especially valuable feature is reusability. Research data on old media can be transferred and saved in digital form, and thus it's preserved for future generations. Media formats age, and if there's no means of accessing the data, for example a video cassette player, it can no longer be used. But if it's saved and documented in digital form, it can be permanently read and interpreted. In this way, research results can be verified at any time. Other researchers can trace which sources Toby used and how he interpreted them. That creates transparency and trust. Thus, Toby makes an important contribution to ensuring good academic practice. And to make sure that Toby's data is protected against unauthorized access, only Toby and people he authorizes have permission to access his research data. erklär-video and TextGrid provide the necessary authorization infrastructure. Toby can be sure that the data is used and stored in accordance with legal requirements, such as copyright, data privacy laws, and conditions of use for archival rights. erklär-video and TextGrid are an independent, neutral, and reliable research infrastructure. Toby is relieved. At last, his data is secure.